everyone, my name is Christian K and I am starting my channel to provide you better information how to create denim. I do care about this denim industry. Many big companies, they're going to outside of USA to produce their garments, and it's been like that, but I want to bring back business to this LA, which is home base for denim making. I myself 20 years, companies around me 30 years, with respect, with hands-on quality. So we're made in Los Angeles, and I like to help you how to walk through this made in Los Angeles, made in USA denim garments for your needs. So before you develop or touch denim, you would have to pick a good fabric. But why this type of company is necessary or needs for your first step? Because if you go through the big original mills, you have to order minimum quantity, 2,000, 3,000 yards, with the original price, $12 per yard, $13, $16, $15 a yard. Instead, here at the premium denim outlet, you could select those kind of same fabric, but it's a little bit older, but it's okay. You can get it at $6 range and no minimum. So it's really efficient for you to test out the fabric. This company has been around for about 40-50 years, as far as I know. This company has all kinds of different fabrications from all over the world. Candiani, Isco, Curabo, any type of mills, you will see every sample yardage to thousands of yardage available at this place. So this is good to start, but please check my next session in the inside of the room that I recommend how to catch false or good fabric and test before, few areas to test before you select the fabric. So please be with me in the room. So he's counting the roll, like how many yards, you know, to count the roll, the yardage. So this is the machine. How you can count. 1, that's 1 yard. 2, and he got to make sure it's flattened out. The rolls are flattened out. Program the quality. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Tony. So why you have to get to know about denim fabric? It could be helpful for you, or it could harm you really hard. I've seen a lot of company or startup brands or designers, they didn't know much about the denim materials or chemicals. They spent so much money and time and end up they couldn't go more for further for their business or their collections. So especially when you get to this type of overstock denim fabric company, they carry lots of different fabrics from other mills in the world, but you need to be careful what to pick and what not to pick. Denim fabric, after it gets made from the original mill, if it's 5 years old, it's old fabric. It could get the issue when you bleach it down, or it could get an issue when you make the garment and then the knee pops out, it doesn't recover, or it rips during the wash. So after 5 years old, you consider as old fabric, so you must test multiple times, which I will tell you what to test before you purchase the fabric. When you purchase fabric from a stock fabric company, you must ask them. They wouldn't like it, but you want to ask how old this fabric is after you purchase from the brands, or because they purchase through all the brands leftover fabrics, and there's pros and cons. But yes, most of the startup people, they start testing from this type of fabric company. So before you pick a fabric, please test these 2 areas. 1, cracking. Cracking means it cracks out, it bleeds out outside the water. So when you have this type of fabric, when you touch it, or when you hit the surface of white or any type of furniture, it gets bleed out. So we're gonna test how much portion of the cracking we have for this fabric. Here we have a blank white paper. Everyone has this at home. I can cut a swatch. And scrap it. You see a little bit of blue indigo comes out. This portion is really good. It tells me it's really good denim as far as the cracking issue. But we're gonna test another area after this, but this is good portion to have. Instead, let's say this is another fabric from overseas. Yes. And you see this much of indigo comes out. Mostly this type of fabric is called slasher dye. When you dye the fabric, there's a two type of dyeing process, as I explained earlier. Rope dye versus slasher dye. Rope dye is when you drop down every yarn to the drum to get dyed. All the yarns get dyed individually, and then you get to weave together. The slasher dye, you complete the weaving first, and then you do the indigo dye process at the big machine. So it's more likely surface, not the depth of the inside of the yarn. So I wouldn't recommend to do dark wash on this kind of cracking because you get problem after you sell to the consumer. But this, yes, it's okay to make raw or dark rinse wash. Number two, another area that you must check before you purchase the fabric is the torquing issue. So torquing issue is a lot of time when the fabric gets weaved, it's either 2x1, 3x1, left hand twill, right hand twill. It gets torque. The fabric gets torque itself from the fabric, and also majorly at the garment after wash. It will show dramatically. So how you check the torquing issue is when you have a fabric like this, get the scissors and chop a little bit on the edge of the fabric and then rip it by your hand. I can already tell this is not good fabric for the torquing side, but let me test it again. So get the scissors and chop it a little bit on the edge of the fabric, rip it by your hand. So when you rip by hand, most of the fabric, good fabric, if they don't have torquing issue, it shows you straight line. So let's see, let's match the side. Because side you cannot, side always is a straight parallel, but when you match the side, the part that I ripped, it's this much torquing portion. So this is not good portion for the torquing issue. So this fabric has good safe portion of the bleeding, cracking, but it doesn't have good portion of the torquing issue. So you may have to consider either do not wash too much, let's say do not go down to medium or light wash, or don't use caballo, which means the felted seam at your inseam. Mostly the caballo sewing process starts from right to left, and the left leg gets torque. at the end. Instead, I recommend to use overlock, so it could prevent a little bit. So the torquing portion I would suggest to go is maximum 3/4 inch difference. This is too much. So you wouldn't want to face this issue after garment has been made. So yeah, those two areas, before you make the garment, you would want to test to prevent any issues, either after sewing or after washing. Okay, so we're at the showroom of this company called Premium Denim Outlet, which you can find variety of denim fabric from all over the world, and there's no minimum. You can purchase at almost half price versus compared to the original mill. But again, please check what I've two areas earlier to prevent your issues of making denim. Nowadays, a lot of people, a lot of brands, they're making heavyweight. They're using heavyweight, 13, 14 ounce, even for women's, and they make wide leg or cargo. That's a trend for now, 2023. So depends on what you're targeting, who you're targeting, and what's your trend reported. So you could pick and choose. Depends on your design or your end consumer final fit. You select your denim fabric. Mostly consider right weight ons to use for certain customers. I would recommend using 9 to if I talk about pants, 9 to 11 ounce besides the trendy area, but in general for denim pants for women's, I would suggest to use 9 to 11 ounce with a little bit of stretch, 2-3% spandex or lycra for them to have little movements. For men's, I would go 11 to 12 and a half in general for men's. So yeah, you could pick and choose a lot of different fabric for your design goals. And for example, let's say Itochu. It's a good Japan mill, but it says, I want to give you a little bit of information of what to look at, and what this means is 58 inch. This means the cuttable, the fabric width of this fabric, and 13 ounce. This is the weight of the fabric. It's pretty heavier weight. 100% cotton. This is all made by 100% cotton, where warp and the weft and the warp. Sorry. So yes, this is good for. I would say this is good for a jacket. If you like to make jacket, this is good fabric. Or the trendy wide leg or loose fit. This could be good. Let's talk about the selvage. Let's look at the selvage. Okay, there you go. This is original cone mill selvage denim. It's an indigo red stripe, as you can see. It's 14 ounce, 3x1, and 100% cotton. 28 inch. This means the width of the fabric is 28 inch. This means they have 3,000 yards available. So selvage, they use a lot of brands using selvage for straight fit or jacket. It's basically like a luxury what do you call it, segment, luxury level of the denim fabric, because it takes time to weave the fabric, or it's a limited. In many area, selvage is known for a luxury type of level. These are all raw, so you could wash it down at the wash house, using bleach or potassium, but be careful if the fabric has spandex in it or synthetic yarn. Do not use bleach. This is a tip: when you wash the synthetic yarn, combine the fabric or too much spandex in it, do not try to use potassium to color down. Not to use bleach. That's my recommendation. If it has mostly cotton base, you can use bleach. It won't damage any yarns in the fabric. This is good canvas. It's also from cone mill, natural. You could use as a raw. You could color into black, or this is good. I like natural color, or not PFD, which is more like white. This is you call PFD twill. This is PFD stands for prepare for garment dye. So prepare for dye, that's called PFD fabric, and you have to over dye or direct dye or silver dye. You have to do that process at the laundry. But this kind of twill, natural twill, I like the characteristic of how it's made, and make a raw garment and have it move along with your movements. Every individual has different movements of their body, so it will fit into it. So denim, one of the beauty of denim is it will fit into the fabric will fit into your body if you keep wearing it. So that's the beauty of denim. Yeah, so I personally like natural twill. So I'm keep happening to pick cone denim fabrics out of all this kind of different type of mills. But yeah, this is another cone made in USA from North Carolina previously, before they closed down. But yes, this has again 57 inches of wide, 10.5 ounce. This is good for either women's or men's. Yeah, this is good for both usage. 93% cotton, 6% poly, 1% spandex. Again, if it has 6% poly, I wouldn't use bleach at the laundry, but use potassium instead to strip down the color, because it has synthetic yarn. Yeah, and it has a good portion. It has good portion of the stretch, even it's 1%. Yeah, this is good fabric to use. So yes, picking the right fabric is really important for you to start developing your own denim garments. And so get the right fabric, test it before you purchase bulk, and get to know more about fabric, to use which kind of chemical tool to which fabrication, because it has different characters and finishing of the fabric. So yes, thank you. This was my experience throughout my denim career, that I've seen a lot of major brand had this issue after they made all the garments, and they lost a lot of money and time, or provide the customer and consumer not good quality. So please be careful. And if you have any question, let us know, or leave a comment that I can reply and I can answer to you. Thank you so much.